My name is Elizabeth from Elizabeth Magical Garden. Here is where I empower women to reclaim their authentic power, embrace their inner wisdom, and transform life's most challenges. Transitions into profound opportunities for spiritual growth and self-discovery. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload a video. Subscribe to the newsletter at Elizabeth Magical Garden, as well as check out my podcast at Elizabeth Magical Garden, which goes live every single Thursday. Hi, my name is Elizabeth from Elizabeth Magical Garden, a magical garden reaching for the stars. Guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Elizabeth, and I am here to celebrate. Guys, for someone who does not follow basketball, I find myself being very, very excited. So welcome back to the channel. You know, it's been a ride. First of all, good morning. Good morning as I stream right now. It's about 11 o'clock. It's almost afternoon, but it's all good. I still didn't have my breakfast. For those who don't know, I do practice intermittent fasting, and it is hot. And I'm the type of person, when it's hot like that, it's really hard for me to eat. But anyway, guys, welcome back to the channel. I am so excited. We have a couple of things that we're going to be diving in. If you hear any sirens, I do have my window open. Child, if you see the if you see the situation over here, girl, we are making do. I got my little fan on the side on the left. I got my window on the right. I got my little other fan on the left. I haven't put in my AC yet. Guys, do you have your AC in? I don't have my AC in as of yet. Is there a little piece of hair here? I don't know. I don't have my AC in as of yet. Well, I should say installed as of yet, because the weather has been really up and down, and I wasn't trying to freeze, so I didn't put it in. And you know what? Low key, high key, I kind of want to not put it in, but it's, I do have fur babies, so for their sake, I want to make sure that they're as cool as possible. But one of the things I notice, your body will adjust, because although it is warm, I feel like I have moments like right now, given the right setup, I'm feeling a little good. I say this now, but then there's times where it's like, oh my God, it's so hot. I find that usually by the time it's almost time for me to go to bed, that's when I tend to get like a little hotter. It could be some other things, okay, menopause, that's playing a factor as well. But we've been doing a thing, and my son is the one who usually installs it for me, and he's been working so hard. I haven't had the heart to get him to do all of that. So this weekend we're going to do it. He's going to do it, I should say. But anyway, guys, welcome back. First off, shout out to the Knicks. If you are living in New York, you already know how insane this game was. What? So, okay. From my recollection, okay, so this is me giving you my tidbit, secondhand conversation that my son and I were discussing today. And from what I was told and I was following, literally the Knicks, the hand of God literally turned everything for them, because they weren't doing too well in the beginning, and it wasn't looking good. It wasn't looking good. The game wasn't looking good. Because they lost the game prior to this one, and it wasn't looking good even on this particular game last night. And then everything took a turn. The funny thing is, they just that tip, right? And then they won the game. They won the game. It reminds me when I was Not the same, but pretty much kind of like same energy, if I want to say. Well, for me at least. I'm looking over here because my notes is over here. When I was learning to drive, and I was working so guys, I was working so hard for my driver's ed license. I did not go to driver's ed, I should say, when I was a teenager. I was busy doing other things, okay? But later on, I wanted to get my driver's license, and there was nobody like available at that time to help me to help. Wait, is there a little? Wait, hold on, guys, because this is, I don't know if it's me. Okay, there weren't anybody to, because everybody works. It wasn't anybody to um, teach me, and some people did, a couple of people did what they could, but I was starting from scratch. Shout out to my girlfriend though, my homegirl. She really was the one to be brave enough and and help me with her car, just being patient with me, and doing the things. You know who you are, okay? Thank you. So with that being said, I signed up for driver's ed, and this man, he was something else. His name, I'm not even gonna go into that, but to be respectful, but he was something else, and this man was really patient because I didn't know anything. I literally did not know anything. I was starting from scratch, and what I would have him do would be to pick me up every day at the location at my job, and then we would start my lessons from there, and from there we would end the lesson in front of my home. So when it was time to get my driver's license to take the test, the first time I failed. I was so winded. I don't know, looking back, I don't know what I expected because I was still green. Like when I look back, my nerves were still shaky. I knew the mechanics of the vehicle, but I didn't know, I just wasn't ready. And when you're not ready, you're not ready. So anyway, the first time I failed. The second time, it was over silly things. Like I was making silly mistakes. The third time, yes, the third time, again, another silly mistake. The fourth time, the fourth time, guys, it was raining so hard. It was that day. It was raining so hard. Like there were flood alerts in the area and so forth, to the point where I thought they was gonna cancel it, because there's no way that you're gonna ask us to take a test in this rain. Hmm. I'm still having my coffee, and we have it black, okay? And I stood there, and I remember, because it was raining so hard, he got in the car, and my driver's instructor, he got in the car, he was like, this and that, to turn on the fog lights. And I was like, what? And I had to remember all this stuff, because every time I was learning, it was sunny. So anyway, the person that was going to administer the test, he got in the vehicle, and I started proceeding to drive. At this point, this is my fourth time, guys. At this point, I kind of had a cavalier type of situation, um, towards the exam. Right, I'm in the vehicle, and I'm just like, I'm doing all the things, because at this point I'm like, he's like, turn left, I'm turn left, turn right, do it, broken U turn. I do that. I'm doing all the things that he's doing, or whatever the situation. So now we are back in front of our starting post, but on the other side. So now I hear this machine, like it sounds like a printer, right? And I'm like, I'm like sitting there, and then he gives me a pen, right? And he gives me the paper. And at this point, when he's giving me the pen, I'm like, I know you lying. I know he not trying to tell me to sign no failure paper. I'm not putting two and two together, because if I was thinking about it, I never received a paper, right? Well, not that type of paper, but I was so, kind of like defeated because I was like feeling, but anyway, he gave me the paper and I signed it. I gave it back to him, and then he said the magic words: "Congratulations. Congratulations." Guys, the theatrics in this rain. When he said congratulations, I was like, I passed? He's like, yes, you passed. And you did good. And I was like so excited, guys. I asked this man. I asked the man, I was like, because I don't know the touching. Can we touch or whatever the situation? I was like, can I give you a hug? He was like, okay. And I gave him a hug. Girl, I got out that car. I didn't even care if it was raining. I got out that car because my instructor, he was waiting for me in front of the car that we drove. We drove towards to take the test. I jumped out. I was like, I passed. And he was just looking. He's a very astute man, and I could see in his face. And I'm like, I got in the car and I just was like so excited. I was so excited. And of course, me, a personality, and I blame my Virgo moon for that. Okay, of course, I got to look to see like what didn't I do good in. So I'm like, oh, so this point, and he was like, you passed. Like, let yourself have this. And the reason why I'm even bringing this up is because when they were playing, they were not doing good, and it was looking like they was going to like lose the game. The Knicks was looking like it was going to be another fail. And the ball hit the rim, when the ball hit the rim, it was like bouncing out, and then out of nowhere, here goes that tip and pushed it back into the rim, and that was it. We won. Now they still have to go further out. I'm trying to see if this is my cat. Okay. We still have some more to do, but it just goes to show you. It just goes to show you, right? It just goes to show you. God did his big one. How many times that things look bleak? How many times have you been in a situation when things was looking bleak and it just seemed like all hope was gone, and then you receive that final call, that decision, that one decision maker that puts you over the edge? How many times have you been in a situation, maybe maybe the money wasn't coming in on time, maybe Christmas is right around the corner? I know we are in June and I'm talking about Christmas, right? But no, and especially for those who are parents, how many times have you been in a situation where a birthday, Christmas, a big deal for your child has been abode, and you were putting, after you pay all the bills, where is the money? Peter is chasing Paul. You're doing all the things only to get that extra income, that overtime at the last minute. Maybe somebody owed you money and they finally paid you back. Maybe there was a check that you got that you forgot that you had coming. Like, how many times did God proceed to bless you in such a way? In such a way that it was just mind-boggling. How many times did that business make it to the final inning, right? Because in business, not every and not every month is a high income month, right? Especially when for the people that are working for themselves, maybe the clients are not coming in the way they need to, and you're like, wait a minute, like this season is really rough, and then you realize like there's something else that you could do. Something turns, something happens where you can stay afloat. There's so many occasions I know in my life that I've had over the moments, and I can only say it's only God. It's only God that I was able to get through this, right? And as we celebrate the gift, the fight, and the comeback spirit the Knicks kept showing us, I believe using that inspiration for our personal lives is key. Like, honestly, this is a spiritual warfare. This game right here is bringing so many people together. Yes, there has been some things that, and you know what? For those who are listening, and let's pass this on, right? Let's have good showmanship. I know this is a very, very important time of our lives, right? And let's let's have good showmanship because, you know, inflicting harm on others is never a good thing, right? So let's hold space for that because I don't, you should be a Knicks fan, but if you're not, okay, so let's just keep it cute and light, right? But that spirit of that comeback spirit that the Knicks have, like it's doing so much for the community. I was looking on Instagram, and there are different locations in Brooklyn where people are watching in the streets, honey. Okay, and the roar when that ball went into the hoop. Like, are you kidding me? There's so many lessons, especially for the young ones, right? For the young people that are watching, there's so many lessons on believing in yourself. Just when you thought, my mother have the saying that she likes to say. My mother's Haitian, so she says it in Creole. So I'm not gonna even try to attempt because my Creole is not the best, and I want y'all to understand. But basically, it says when, because it's something my grandmother used to say. God bless her spirit. When God stomps his feet, right? When God stomps his feet, like basically when it's not when you say, it's when God say, right? When it's time, when it's your time, it's your time. And what I'm realizing, especially now that I am in my mid 50s, like a lot of the things that I was sweating and I was stressing over, I'm like, girl, that is not tea. Excuse me, are you kidding me? You don't even have to go that hard. A lot of times we be going so hard and it's not that serious. It may be serious, but it's not that serious because at the end of the day, especially when you have faith, everything will work out one way or the next. The thing is, we want it to work out the way we believe it should work out. But the thing is, the ultimate thing is what is best for you? What is the most important thing? A lot of times we find ourselves in these relationships, these butt relationships, right? Yes, booty relationships. I don't want and you fighting to hold on to something stinky that doesn't need your attention. Like, boo, you are too beautiful. You are too blessed. You are too gorgeous of a woman from the inside out to be allowing your spirit to be taken for granted. Move on, child. Move on. Because I personally believe, whether you are a man or a woman, but I'm speaking to my girls out here, we are beautiful spiritual beings having a physical experience. And anytime you find yourself in a situation where you are being taken advantage of, where you are not being appreciated, your time and your energy and your strength, it's time to reevaluate your present circumstances, whether it be a relationship, a business relationship, whatever relationship you are in. If you are not, I repeat, if you are not being appreciated, it is time to re-examine your current situation because life is too beautiful for you to be sitting on the sideline waiting to be picked. Okay? Right? And this showmanship has just put so many ideas within me to the point where I just couldn't help but come and go live between you, because this energy that the city has is so infectious that who am I not to come before you and share it? And as we celebrate the gift, right, the fight and the comeback spirit the Knicks keep showing us, I can't help but think about what God is doing in this season. What is God doing in this season? What is God doing in this current season in your life? I can't help but think that, because I don't believe that this is a coincidence that we are all coming together and we are experiencing something good. This is so good for the morale, with all the current events that's taking place in the world. Having something like this where we can all come together and be excited is a blessing from God. I would equate this to rain. You know, it's hot right now. Right now, it is, girl, it is hot. I'm sitting here drinking this hot coffee, and, it is what it is. I just can't help but I just can't help but think about what is God doing in this season of our lives, collectively and individually, right? Because sometimes a win isn't just a win. Whenever you strive to reach a new level, there's always a new devil. And we can get into a space where we just keep pushing and going and winning and not allowing ourselves to acclaim the wins that's here for us, not allow ourselves the richness of being happy, being genuinely happy for yourselves. We're so busy wanting everybody else to be happy for us that we lose the spice of life. We lose that ability to self actualize, self analyze what we are experiencing today in our lives. And that is a very dangerous space to be when you are waiting for others to experience you and bring you into a space, because people are haters. Yeah, I'm sorry to break the news. Not. People are jealous of you. People are jealous. People are jealous. People are envious. And it's not, and this is where empathy is definitely important, because anytime you are experiencing something like that, the first instinct is to want to be disappointed, yeah, and be upset even. But I would suggest you practice, this is where practicing mindfulness come in, right? Because it allows you to see the big picture. Because you are not in charge of what somebody or how somebody view you. That's none of your business. Your business is to keep your eyes straight. Of course, I forgot to. Of course, I forgot to turn this off, right? Of course, I forgot to turn this off. Let's do that right now. But it is not. Hold on, guys. Let's take care of this right now. And you know what's so funny? When I was about to come live, I said to myself, you know what? I need to bring this into a space. Let's, girl. My phone has been. Okay, here we go. My phone has been acting a little bit. I think it's time for me to upgrade grade me, okay? But anyway, thank you for being patient. How a person view you is really not your opinion, and this is why practicing mindfulness is so important, right? Because then you're able to zoom out and see the big picture. And a lot of times your ability to do something or achieve something may be triggering in somebody else inability to achieve the thing that you're doing, right? Yes, rather than them focus, sometimes they don't even realize it. Spirit is spirit. Sometimes they don't even realize, how silly it is to take the time to revere what somebody else have, right? And get jealous over it. You don't realize what a person has to do. You don't like if you see somebody with let's just say with muscles, um, a six pack, um, even with certain accolades, maybe they have uh, reached a certain level educational wise. For you to sit there and be envious of that person, do you know how hard it was for them to achieve that? Do you know that when you see a person, this is why, especially when you see a person that is fit, they usually get like a certain amount of respect. Anytime you see a person that's fit, there's a certain amount of respect that comes with that, because there's a dedication that goes with that. That person didn't just wake up like that. You don't just you don't just pack on that particular physique because you was eating bonbons and ice cream every day. Yeah, you can still do that, but if you just sitting there doing that every day and you're not doing anything to maintain that physique, you could forget about it, right? And then to know that you are not taking the time to stay up and cram and read the books and go to class, even on those days when you didn't want to do, going to the gym in the rain, waking up early to exercise, moving your body every single day, doing the things, not eating the things that you know that you love, doing all the basically sacrificing in such a way that allows that person to receive that thing. It's silly, right? And then when you look at that type of behavior, although it can hurt, because usually it's the closest people to you, right? It is, okay? Rather than allow yourself to get out of your zone, empathize with that person or for that person, because you know the dedication that you've done, you know the work that you put forth, you know the things that you omitted to allow you to achieve whatever hierarchy that person may see you do. And it's not for you to small yourself. Mm-mm. It is not for you to small yourself, guys. Never small yourself for somebody lack thereof. And it doesn't make you better. It doesn't make you better, because we all have different levels of achievement, right? So it doesn't make you better, but never make yourself smaller because you want to, aka, fit in or not make people feel bad. Especially women, we tend to do that, right? We'll tend to. I'll give you an example. You go to work, and you may maybe you shed some pounds. Maybe you shed some pounds, right? Or maybe you started working out and you put on a little weight, but you in all the right areas, right? And now you have that, that person. Oh, somebody went shopping. Oh, that's a fitted skirt. And then you be like, oh, and then a lot of times we tend to cower, like, oh, I just was trying something new. I started working out, and a lot of things don't fit. What is that? Why are you explaining yourself? Thank you. It does fit, doesn't it? I'm so happy I found my size. You see that? It's a difference. And you cower that spirit because it's a spirit. A lot. I really believe that a lot of times people are not aware when that spirit of envy comes into them, you know and you prey on that by acknowledging what God has done for you, because you know the sacrifices that you have done. You know how hard you work. When your children are moving forward and they are achieving, it's not for you to small your ability that to of allow of all the times where you stood up with that child or your kids, all the sacrifices that you've made over the years. It's not, this is a time for you to live life to the fullest. You know what I mean? So that energy, that energy is spiraling on, and I just can't help to know that, to think, I should say, of how much God has in store for us. New York is buzzing right now. The city got that we're alive again energy. And this is the thing, right? That we're alive type of energy is so infectious. It's so infectious, guys. I just feel like it's in everything. And as we celebrate the gift, the fight, the comeback, the spirit the Knicks keep showing us, like, that thought of what God is doing in this season for us all is just so heightened to me. Because sometimes a win isn't just a win, it's a reminder. God still is in business. He's still in business. He's still in the heartfelt business. God is still in business of new beginnings, igniting new seasons, broadcasting, showering new love upon his people, new mercy, new strength, new vision. And even if your life has felt heavy, because life does have a way of making you feel like you're the only one, it has a way of isolating yourself. Trust me, it's not as heavy as you think. And this is why I believe going out in nature, going out for walks, getting out of your own self, do something kind for somebody else. A lot of times, all you really need is to step out or step away from your own issues and do something kind for somebody else. Knock on your neighbor. If you have an elderly neighbor, check up on your neighbor. If the weather is a little rough and you go into the store, see if your neighbor needs something from the store, right? Pay it forward. Maybe, like, if you online and maybe you're getting a cup of coffee, pay it forward and pay for the person's coffee behind you. Do little things. When you're at the park, if you see trash on the floor, pick it up. These things that I mention goes a long way. It goes so far, guys. And it's not about being a goody two shoes, because who's a goody two shoes? But I always believed, I don't just believe in just like monetary gifts. I love doing things for others. When he was a little boy, I used to make it my business to do kind things for others in front of him, like for strangers in front of him. I remember uh I remember one time it was hot, and this older lady, we was waiting across the street, and she had two bags, like, and you could tell they were kind of heavy, and he was with me, and I looked. She was standing on the left of me, and I'm 5'8", so I'm thinking she was like maybe like five. She was shorter than me, and my son, like, cause her and my son was a little, like, he was like, I think he was like about, I don't know, I think he was like around eight at the time, 8, 9. Anyway, he was a little boy. And I turned over to her and I asked, I was like, ma'am, I was like, do you need any help with your bag? And she looked up at me and she said, yes, I live across the street. I only live a couple of houses down. And I said, okay. So I took her bags, and her and my son, we proceeded to go across the street, and I gave her back her bags, and she was so happy. She was welcoming me. She was just like, if you ever in the neighborhood, I live right here. Don't be shy to, stop by, ring my bell, whatever. Of course I didn't do it, but she was literally opening her home to me just because I did that one little act, which was a big act, right? And it's been so many times that in my spirit, I just did that, and I have always been partial to elderly women, even down from when I was a young girl. Because I really equate that to the relationship I had with my grandmother, and it just would always, it was just like always a respect thing. Anyway, there's always something that you could do, and when you do things like that, God, first of all, you can never do more for God's children. Okay, so it's inevitable that you are going to be blessed. And of course, you're not doing it just to be blessed, but you are going to be blessed. Like, you're going to be blessed tenfold just because out of the goodness of your heart, you decided to do something good for somebody. So, this is just something to think about, right? Right? Because this is your sign, I believe, that God can shift things faster than you think. This is your sign. Like, the fact that like, honestly, I know I keep going back to the Knicks, but it's, let's just be honest. This whole segment is wrapping around this particular game because it was not looking good. It was looking bleak. It was not looking good, guys. It just wasn't. It looked like they were just going to be in a sack again. And for that turnaround to happen, it just goes to show you that, like, when God has his anointing on you, there is absolutely nothing, no hate, no thing can happen to you. Like, honestly, like, for those who don't know, I'm on this journey once again. I'm on this journey, but this time it's so different. This time it's so different. So I'm not going to even hold bars to myself, okay? I'm on this personal journey to read the Bible from the beginning to the end. Years ago, I've attempted a couple of times, but there was this one time I got to like 70%. This time, which I have never done before, this time is different because I have such a laid back atmosphere with this journey. I'm not giving myself a time. Like, I'm not like, well, by the end of this year I should finish the book. No, no, no. I'm just on this journey because, like, there's been times where one chapter, it would take me um like a week or two because it's just bars after bars after bars. Like, God is just doing his big one. Like, I'm just like, wait a minute, I just have to sit. I have to sit. I have to sit with this one. I have to sit with this one because the fact that it's because right now I'm in Genesis, and the miracles after miracles after miracles that God have done for his people, and the way God has went before them. That was what, that's the thing that I'm just constantly getting my mind about, because how many times, mind wrapped around, I should say, how many times we get into such a defeative atmosphere within ourselves, all because we have our hands clutched onto the ranges so hard that we don't even stop to think that there's a higher power in the mix. Like, God said, I knew you before you was in your mother's womb. So if you knew me before I was in my mother's womb, therefore you knew the life that I was already going to live in this physical body. So if you know what life that I was going to live in this physical body, if I could just consciously remind myself that everything is already laid out. You are my rock. You are my salvation. So I just have to constantly remind myself, because we are physical beings we are spiritual beings having a physical experience, and through a physical experience we are in a warfare physically, because our nervous system is constantly being revved up. Our attention span is shorter than it's ever been with all the technology. We want things not yesterday, light years a day, okay, if that makes any sense. Having the ability to remember the relationship that God wants with us tends to go in the back seat. Me personally, it's just me. I like to do my best to get all take away all the things, all the distractions, that is allowing me not to be at my best, not allowing me to have this relationship. Because this journey with me, reading the Bible, it's not a religious thing. It's more or less of me reminding myself and also establishing a relationship, a stronger bond with the Creator God, getting to know His character, understanding, like, His word is His word. Like, why is it? Why is it? Why is His word His word? Reading the stories, and I know we get into this thing like, oh, the Bible's man-made. Yes, it is. But let me tell you something. Everything that is needed in that Bible is. Okay, hold on, guys. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, you. Guys, I'm back. My cat. Okay, she had to she had to leave, honey. So I had to let her out. But this relationship that I have been on this journey, and I've always been a person to, no matter what my belief systems were, my back. Okay. But no matter how I felt, I've always made it a point to at, done my best to remind myself that it's not so much of, oh, I'm going to church and I'm doing the things. It's the relationship. It's a personal relationship, because through that personal relationship there is something awoken within you, right? So there's that. And I just am so excited for this new season that I truly believe that God has in store for us, right? And it's just something to get excited about, something to think about, right? Because what is God doing in this season, right? Because sometimes a win isn't just a win, like I just said. It's a reminder that God is still in the business of healing, answering prayer, bringing forth dreams. Yeah, because for those who may or may not know, Jean Michel Basquiat, I was going to say Baptiste, Basquiat, his painting is all over. He was an American artist whose neo he would he had um neo expressionist. He was a neo expressionist, with works his works addressed social, community, and circumstances, about wealth, and a lot of his painting has contemporary societal situations, and he used his art to talk and discuss a lot about a lot of the racial inabilities to be equal in America. And I personally believe that he was anointed. His I believe his mother was from Haiti, or his father was from Haiti, and I think his mother was Spanish. I know he was like mixed with both. And he didn't come from money. He didn't come from a space where he had so much, but he had a dream. He had something to say. He used to do a lot of graffiti and on the walls. This is back in the day when people would like legit take spray paint and deface public property. I know. But he started off as a poet, in my personal belief. He would write these thought provoking paragraphs. And for a long time, people didn't even know who he was. And from there, his paintings, and he would live with individuals, and he would use any type of medium to bring light to his expressions, to bring light to the inability to have equal rights, and how people were being treated. Right? He used his voice. He paid it forward to bring light into a lot of things. And because he was so young, and he was a young black man, and to have such knowledge, and he was very educated. Unfortunately, his life took a turn through other things, but the premise to put light to what I'm saying is that he had a belief system, and God used him, right? Because a lot of times we think what we have to offer in this world is not enough. We find ourselves in so many different situations. We tend to think that no one wants to hear this. You know, this is not going to make a difference. Me doing this, me writing this book is not going to do anything. What about Frida Kahlo? She was a Mexican artist. What about her? Imagine if she decided to just, you know what, just lay there. She had a massive back injury that on a bus where a pole literally, like, I don't want to be gruesome, but it just was not a good look. You could do the research on your own. But she was on her back, and she used paintbrushes and started painting while she was on her back. She couldn't move, she couldn't walk, right? And she was a powerful artist. She made a lot of self portraits, exploring identity, gender, class, and also race issues in Mexican society. She did a lot. She was such a powerful artist. I love her. And look at her. Imagine if she said, you know what, to herself, you know what, she just went into a deep depression, which I'm sure she did. And she just decided, said, you know what, that's it. I'm not going to do anything. You know, her life is, that's what it is. She's, why even move forward in life? Imagine if she did that. We would have, we would never know the beauty and the expression. We would have never been educated in the way that she was able to do that, all through her pain. Like, it wasn't like now you have like all this type of medicine. Okay, this woman was able to produce in such a way, right? Imagine, even again, the Knicks. Imagine if, when that ball was tipping and they they just got stuck, and he didn't take to push this, you know, a little nudge to make sure the ball win. This is history. I say this all to say, guys, do not shortchange yourself. Do not shortchange yourself, because you never know what God has in store for you. You don't know what is the final inning. You don't know. Okay, he left. Okay, he don't want to be with you no more. Okay, maybe that job, you got passed up on that promotion. Okay, maybe your business is not making as much revenue this month. Are you supposed to let everything go? Are you supposed to forget, like, just give up on life because things is not showing you in your best light? No, you do not know what the final inning is. You know, I gave my son this analogy that I'm going to share with you today. There are some things that happens in life, and I really understand, well, I've come to understand that there is a season where you are a caterpillar. Yes, a caterpillar. You are in a cocoon situation. You are in a position where life is not presenting you in the same light, and it feels like things are not moving the way it's supposed to be, and you can feel a little cramped in there. Because could you imagine a caterpillar where he gets into a cocoon state, and now he's like all mushed into this hairy sector. And I could only imagine how painful, the pain that he's going through, he or she is going through into that cocoon state. And imagine, like everything is just falling apart, everything is just sticking around, and all the pain and all the toiling and the worry that's happening in this cocoon. But I also believe that there comes a time and space when a person is in this quiet cocoon stage, and there is a hopelessness that presents itself. And if you could just get past that, like when you go to the gym, when you work out, for those who work out, when you work out and you turn, there is a point in time where you want to give up, right? I remember working with a personal trainer, and he would, you know, there's sets, right? There's particular sets that you go to, and then there's a time where you just like, you just get to this point where you feel like you don't have any more, and then he says, come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. And something happens. You dig deep, you dig in a way of strength that you didn't even know you had, and then you push through, and then you're able to do another set. You're able to push more, you're able to push further. And then what happens is, through you being able to push further, the next time you go in, you're even stronger, you have more to give. Could you imagine a caterpillar just hanging in there, pushing through, choosing to stay alive? And then what happens? There's a form of release that happens. And all of a sudden, there's a light that shines through. All of a sudden, there's a break in pain that happens in that caterpillar. And all of a sudden, that wing, girl, I'm about to cry. Why is this butterfly making me cry? I'm about to cry. Ciao. All of a sudden, guys, all of a sudden, there is something that happens. That wings start to arise. That beautiful color, those beautiful colors start to shine through. And all of a sudden, that shell breaks loose. And that caterpillar starts to fly. Boom. Can you imagine if you would just hang in there to see what God has for you? If you would just not give up, if you would have just held on to that paintbrush and kept painting, if you would have just held on to that pen and kept writing, if you would have kept showing up towards your business and bringing life into it, breathing life into your this entity that you started, could you imagine what glory that you would see, what you would be able to experience that God has for you? I do not believe in failure. I'm getting to a point in my life where it may not be a now, it may not be a right now, but it doesn't mean it's a never. There's a difference. There's a difference with things not being a right now, and there's a difference with things being a never. Okay, and never and a right now, a not right now is two different things, right? Because a never is a stamp of steel, like it's just not happening. A a not right now means, okay, you need a little. There's some work that still needs to be done. Okay, you still need some cooking in a cocoon, and that's okay. That's okay. Let's use this victory. Yes, let's use this victory to remind us how God is being victorious in our lives. Right? Like, remember when you was a little kid and you was you was trying to learn um, how to spell your name. How to spell your name. Now, I remember this. I remember, there's a lot of things in my childhood, unfortunately, I do not remember for whatever reasons. But one of the things I do remember is learning to spell my name. And the reason for that is I remember, like, everybody, like, it's vague, but it's strong. It was a time where everybody was learning how to read their name, how to say their name. Guys, you know, my dog is, of course, doing his big one. Let's understand that. Hold on. Let's see what's going on because I have a delivery coming in. Guys, we got company. We got company. We got company. We got company. We got company, guys. So I was learning how to spell my name. And the reason why I remember this is because my name is long. For a little kid, just learning how to read and learning how to spell is a big thing. And I remember wanting my name to be shorter. I remember wanting my name to be Cindy. I wanted my name to be shorter because I was looking like how am I going to learn this long name like Elizabeth? I even remember begrudging my name Elizabeth. Here's the funny thing about this, right? Now, as a little girl, if I could have just told her, "Girl, you a queen. A queens has been named after you. Queen Elizabeth." Like, you see how life is? Because when I was a little girl, I didn't like my name. It was a short time, and I ended up, once I found out, I was like, okay. But I think my mother's the one who had to let me know, like, girl, you're blessed. But at that time, I didn't understand. I didn't understand that this name had so much value, right? I didn't understand, what was attached to that name. I was begrudging. All I could see was, oh, it's so long, it's such a long name, and how am I ever going to learn how to, now I got to learn how to write this and this, that, and a third. And it was really hard. It was really hard for me as a little girl. And like years later, I realized what my name meant, or one of the things it meant. And how many things are we begrudging? How many things are you begrudging? I even posed that question to myself, because you don't know the outcome, right? Here it is, you're getting so down on yourself because you can't see the final act, right? You don't see the final act, so you're sitting here and you're all upset. And little did you know what God has in store for you. How embarrassing that is, right? And this is one of the reasons why I say, you know, having this relationship, working to, at least for myself, I could speak for myself, one of the reasons why I'm on this journey, because it is very important for me to learn and understand God's character. Rather than just know that he's a good God, he's a sovereign God. Yeah, he is, but why? Why? I want to know why. I want to know what makes him so, other than he made the stars, the seas, and the heavens. I know that I have a sovereign, I have a respect, right? It's just like, it's kind of up there like with your parents. And this is why, you're supposed to respect your parents. That's a whole thing. That's a whole nother conversation. But like, when your parents tell you to do something, you're supposed to listen to them, right? You're supposed to listen to your parents when you're a little kid, because why? They love you, they want to keep you safe, they know what's best for you, they know the things that you are ready for, and they know the things that you're not ready for. And as little kids, we want to do the things, we want to do what we want to do when we want to do it, right? We want to do the things when we want to do it, but it may not always be the best, right? And it's not until we become adults do we realize, oh wow, my parents was just trying to protect me. They was literally just trying to save me from a lot of heartache and pain. You there's been plenty of times where I did my own thing. Okay, did my own thing, child. Come on, did my own thing. He's on my lap now. Thank God I got this fan, because with the fur, okay, boo. did my own thing, did my own thing, and I learned years later why it would have been in my best interest. I'm trying to my back. Child, God, this feels so good. And I just kind of feel like I got it higher up. Okay. Oh, that feels really good. Yeah. Did my own thing, chose to do my own thing, and realized years later, like, oh, you know what? Maybe I should have listened, you know? But shoulda, coulda, woulda, because God's mercy, thank God, was upon me, and I was able to move past. But to wrap this up a bit, I just want to shed light on the fact that God has something for you. He's doing his big one, right? God could shift faster. than you think. He could shift things faster than you think. This is why when we have big dreams, it's not for us to get, have a plan. Yes, have a plan. Okay. Okay. I'm a Gemini, but like that Virgo moon, shout out to the Virgos out here. Shout out, because let me tell you something. If it wasn't for my Virgo moon, after God, like, because Geminis could be like, we're very intelligent and we're really good at a lot of things, but I just feel like Virgos have a keen ability to be structured. Okay, they have a keen ability to be structured. So with that being said, it I can get into a plan. Like I needed to see X, Y, and Z to the point where now you're having an anxiety attack. Oh, that's not cute. That's not cute and that's not helpful. And mindfulness is one of the things that I practice that has helped save the day. And if you are in a situation where you can't find yourself, because this is one aspect of being spiritual and having that intimacy with God, right? But physically, some of the things that you can do, because I'm not going to just leave you out here, up in the clouds where, we can tend to be. Some of the things that you can do physically that will help ground you is going out for a walk, moving your body, getting out in nature, right? Getting out in nature, moving your body, allowing the air to hit your face. I know that we are always in front of these computers, in front of these screens, but it is really important for you to maybe even take the earbuds out and allow yourself the glory of feeling what life has for you, right? I like to watch how the birds go. I love to watch the dogs pass. I love to just see the trees sway. I just love to see how God has provided all these things. And it reminds me, if God is doing that for nature, how much more so God will do for me. And then it grounds me, and it helps centers me. And I truly believe that if you will incorporate moving your body, going out in nature, it definitely will do that. And another thing, take care of yourself internally. Eat better. I'm not even gonna say eat right. I'm not going, because you know what, you are very intelligent, and I understand that you have the ability to do the things. What I will say is eat better, because the better you eat, the better you will feel, and you're gonna find yourself on that train ride. So eat better, take care of yourself, stay hydrated, right? Stay hydrated, drink water, eat fruits. If water is hard for you to, because not everybody is big on drinking water. I'm one of those people, but I just went and purchased a whole bunch of fruit. Okay, matter of fact, we got some watermelon. He loves watermelon too, that we are going to definitely eat. But do the things. Stay hydrated. Drink water. Maybe do a cleansing. I have been a little naughty lately because my birthday just passed, and I am working on getting back into a regime, because it's like a slippery slope for me. Like, oh, okay, you want to sleep in, you want to eat that, and it just downhill. I'm not trying to mess up every single thing that I've been working hard on doing because I'm having a little good time. You can have a good time, but then it's time to, it's time to get back. So your girl is back on it, okay? I've been waking up. I've been allowing myself, which was really hard for me to do, guys. I've been allowing myself to let myself get adequate sleep, because guys, I wake up very early in the morning. I am here with the 5 a.m. club, but as the weather changed, I noticed that I needed more sleep, so I've been allowing myself. But okay, we good. We got a little rest. It's here, and when I say allow myself, like an hour more, ooh. But just allowing myself, but having mercy with yourself, because it's not so much of being so rigid all the time, right? So getting enough sleep, going out in nature, moving your body. And another thing is practicing mindfulness. One of the things that I would suggest is for you to sit with yourself. You know, sit with yourself, close your eyes, have in your mind's eye of the things that you want in your life. Breathe life into it. Expect it. Have living a life of of expectancy. Can't even get it out, right? These are just some of the things to, ignite your imagination, because art is all about imagination, using your having the ability to imagine, to dream. As we get older, a lot of times we get like stiff, right? Like it's like, dude, it's like you're not having fun. Let yourself have fun. Let yourself color. Let yourself color in the lines or even out the lines. Have fun. Do what you want. Move your body. I love to put on some music and put on something cute, something sexy, and gyrate and move my body, just let myself go, let myself feel how it is to be a woman, let myself celebrate. I work so hard on myself, I might as well move in a way, groove to things, especially with this Michael Jackson. I've been on a Michael Jackson kick, sidebar. Oh my God. Like, I've always been a Michael Jackson fan. I'm like the original, okay, 70s baby. But, like, ever since I went to see him a couple of months ago, a couple of weeks ago, because I went to go see the movie on Mother's Day weekend. Don't stop till you get enough, okay? And just moving. Guys, it's one life to live. It's one life to live. It's one life to live, so why take it so serious? Why take it so serious? Because at the end of the day, when it's time for that last sleep, not to be humdrum, but what do you want to think back to yourself and say that I never let myself do X, Y, and Z because what everybody else was going to say about me? Who cares? Who cares what they think? Who cares what they think? And you know what? You take an initiative in allowing yourself to do the thing, whatever that thing is, as long as you're not hurting anybody, you're not hurting yourself, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised who else you will help because you chose to be brave. Right? Well, guys, I'm going to take this little guy that's sitting on my lap right here for a little walkie walk. Uh-oh, I said the word and then he looks up. He knows what that word means. Anyway, I'm going to take him out for a little bit and spend some time. And we're going to go in nature and do the things. I hope that this segment was helpful to you guys. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and hit that bell so you'll be notified every time I upload a video, as well as check out the podcast at Elizabeth Magical Garden. A new episode just went live today, so be sure to check that out. All the links will be down below. Guys, you want to hit that bell so you will know every time I go live. I have so many things that will be offered to you guys. I'm so excited. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, I gotta calm down. I have so many things that I'm looking forward to sharing with you guys. We are here on this journey together. You guys been with me. You guys been rocking with me. I want to say special thanks to all my new subscribers, guys. I see you guys and I am so happy to have you here. Be sure to hit that bell so you will be notified when I am going live, so you can be part of the lives, okay? And shout out to all my oldies but goodies as well. You guys been with me from day one and we're just getting bigger and bigger. We are expanding our community and we have something to say. So guys, be sure to stay blessed, stay in peace, and stay empowered.